That non-being that seems to be everything is
Occupied the world. The whole universe was nothing but a blankness.
zero.
It seemed to occupy, it seems to take over. That darkness, that emptiness. There is no play of manifestation, no growth, no change at this stage. This is a progressive canto. We start with this is the state of utter inconscience. But it is the starting point of all growth. So that's where the next line starts. A power of fallen, boundless self, awake between the first and the last nothingness, recalling the tenebrous womb from which it came, turned from the insoluble mystery of birth and the tardy process of mortality, and longed to reach its end in vacant naught. This is the last line. It longed to reach its end in nothingness. What is longing? Power of fallen, boundless self. So it is not it's an emptiness which is a force that seems to rule, to control, to occupy the whole universe or the whole individual, just as in us. Usually we are taken over by ignorance, by inconscience. It's a mighty power. And that is why eventually there is death. It's a rule, it's a force, it reigns. What is it? It's a return to that original non-existence. So that non-existence is a very great power. Though it is nothing. That is the paradox. This nothing is everything. A power of fallen, boundless self. The fallen self which is endless, infinite. Awake between the first and the last nothingness. What is this line? The first nothingness is the starting point of the journey of evolutionary manifestation of consciousness. Out of absolute nothingness, something seems to emerge. And so that boundless, it is the first nothingness, which is at the base. Towards what does everything finally tend?
Absolute.
The absolute, uncreated, immobile, supreme, nameless, formless, timeless. So these are the two emptinesses. That supreme, timeless, eternal, where there is no world, no change, no growth, no manifestation, only that. Its counterpart below, where there is also nothing. Our universe is between these two. Caught between this original emptiness, apparent emptiness, which contains everything, from which everything slowly emerges and grows, climbs to the supreme, which is also everything, where there is no breakup of individuality or separateness or the play of diversity. There is only that. A power of fallen, boundless self. Awake between the first and the last nothingness. Recalling the tenebrous womb from which it came. Our world again and again goes back to this nothingness. this darkness, this absence of light and life and play of existence. It is as if there is a pull that drags us back to that state of inconscience, of ignorance, which is our mother. You go back into the starting point from which all things will be born. But the feeling of safety, the feeling of peace that one has when one goes back to that world where nothing is there, so no hurt, no harm, no difficulties, no manifestation. Something in us wants to go back to that darkness. Why? Because there is no struggle. Life is movement, life is change. If you cannot sustain movement because you don't have endless energy, what happens? You go back into a state of exhaustion. Supposing in your daily life you have spent all the energy you have, what do you want? You're exhausted. You go back into a state of absolute immobile nothingness because you're not aware of yourself. And you go to that sleep where it is a blank, dreamless sleep. The whole world and the universe ceases to be. And that is where you get back the energy to start again. It is a kind of a cycle. It is the womb of all existence. It is our dark mother, where we feel safe, where we feel as if rejuvenated. You get back your energy, your force. So the same way the earth seems to want to go back. She turns towards the light, then she goes back into darkness. The universe is doing the same thing. So you have cycles of growth and cycles of fall. It's not a straight movement from darkness to light. It is from darkness to light, back to darkness. Greater darkness, because the more effort you make to move towards light, the more you plunge into darkness. The more you fall into a state of tiredness, like physically you fall into a great state of tiredness, where you get back again perhaps a new energy. And that is perhaps one reason why Sri Aurobindo describes this movement as a vertical spiral. It goes up, it comes down below, lower than the point from which it started. To go up again and fall back again. So that the basic play of change remains constant. Change and constant. It doesn't move. We live to die. We live again, to die again. This is the symbol of dawn. Dawn leading to night, night leading to dawn. Ignorance and inconscience leading to wanting to move towards consciousness. And then feeling that it should go back to the original darkness. This is the whole reason why basically over thousands and millions of years we have not changed. It is to break this pattern that Savitri will come. It is for this that she is. Otherwise, you have always the downward pull that inevitably follows the upward climb. You go up to come down. You don't go up to go up.
This is the ordinary life that
For
when
everything, for the whole universal movement, in age after age, it's a symbolic pattern. Whether it's day and night, life and death, it's individual, or you take even, say, races or civilizations and cultures. It's a kind of an explosion of manifestation. So much is done, so much is achieved, everything is wiped off. You have pralayas. We can't sustain it. As if this cannot be sustained. It has to be cancelled after a while. It takes many forms. It may even take a form of the pandemic. It's something that comes to sweep away everything. That also is part of it. Everything. So it has a part to play. Can we sustain our journey forward without ever falling back? That is yoga. That is really the essence of yoga. Otherwise, we don't. We always fall back.
Is this fall a kind of a hibernation?
You can call it that. In hibernation is not really a fall. It's a gathering of the energy in order to start again. That is exactly also what you do when you sleep. Things will fall, but also you regain the energy that you had spent so that you can start your next day. If you did not sleep, you could not work. This seems to be the pattern, this is the symbol. We are caught between these two nothingnesses. There are two mothers. There is a dark mother and a luminous mother. They are two aspects of the same infinity. That is the insoluble mystery of birth. What is this mystery of birth? You are born to die. That is the final stage. Then why? You go. You come, then everything that you are, have been, have attained is cancelled. This is the insoluble mystery. Why be born? Why is this creation made? So turn from the insoluble mystery of birth and the tardy process of mortality. Tardy is slow. Mortality comes from the word death. This is the whole thing, the process of life, death. Life leading to death. That is the mystery. When this constant movement keeps on and on repeating, all you want to do is finally to rest. It's going up and down, forward and backward. Finally you say, over. Either it is in the highest plane of consciousness or the supreme absolute samadhi, or the lowest state of ignorance and inconscience, where there is also no movement, no attempt, no change, there is only inertia, but that also is repose. Repose of inertia. That is the vacant note. As in a dark beginning of all things. So this is the beginning, a mute, featureless semblance of the unknown, repeating forever the unconscious act, prolonging forever the unseeing will, cradled the cosmic drowse of ignorant force, whose moved creative slumber kindles the suns and carries our lives in its somnambulist whirl. This mute, featureless semblance is an image or an expression or a copy of the unknown. What is this copy of the unknown or expression of the unknown? This moved creative slumber. Slumber is symbol of unconsciousness. Everything moves. There is a universal energy that is working in the play of manifestation, in the play of the earth. There is a force. The universe is energy. But this energy doesn't seem to know what it is doing. Isn't it? the world of matter, or in the world of movement of the stars, movement of all the planets, they are all moving with the force of a creative slumber. Because they are moving, and there doesn't seem to be any guidance, any conscious control. They seem to be moving like somnambulists. You know what a somnambulist is, isn't it? He walks in his sleep, doesn't know where he's going. Earth also is like that. Man also is like that. We grow, we move, we don't know why, we don't know where we are moving. Repeating forever the unconscious act. And therefore, this pattern of ignorance, where there is lack of direction, and therefore I repeat, if I had a clear conscious vision and I knew that this is where I start from and this is where I have to head, then there is no repetition, there is a constant progress. But because I cannot constantly progress, because of the backward pull, I fall back into the state of ignorance from which I started. So even though when earth or man wants to change, wants to progress, because progress is part of the evolutionary pattern, we are on earth to progress. Why can we not always progress? The unconsciousness comes, drags us down, just like night comes after every dawn, after every day. And therefore, it prolongs the unseeing will. The unseeing will is that energy, that unconscious energy. It's a will, it's a force. But it doesn't know why it is at work. Why is the earth rotating in space? Earth doesn't know. She's turning around herself, she's turning around the sun. She doesn't seem to have any reason for doing so. She doesn't even know. Man doesn't know why he has come on earth and where he's allotted a certain amount of time and then he's asked to leave. He may come again and again, but to go where? Eventually, when we move, it is to reach a goal. If I do not know that there is a goal, I just move without knowing where I'm heading, then I'm a somnambulist. Therefore, cradled, because in the cradling movement you have a kind of the like a pendulum that moves from one side to the other, repeating the same patterns, repeating as he had said already, whose moved creative slumber. So you get the image of the cradle, the child or the consciousness is sleeping in the cradle, and it is from there that there is a sense of force of manifestation. Out of this original unconsciousness, out of this original darkness, it seems to have fallen asleep. But every sleep ends in a waking. So here also there is a creative slumber. That sleep prepares the play of a new manifestation. So you see, this is very typical of Sri Aurobindo. He will not only show one side of something, he will always show different sides of the same thing. This ignorance, this inconscience is the starting point of all consciousness. It is an aspect, therefore, of the divine, of the infinite. Seems to have been totally covered up by darkness. But it is an almighty power. She is Devaki. She was here as a child. You know Birenda, who used to do massage?
Yes.
She's his granddaughter. So she used to come here regularly.
Sleep prepares for, you said, for the creative slumber.
Yes, so it is that the whole play of existence, the whole play of manifestation is something that seems to be done in a state of, you might say, ignorance. This energy that is at work, that is sustaining the universe, does it seem to be a conscious force or is it an automatic force? It is an automatic force, but that force is almighty and therefore it must be containing deep within a divine principle. But outwardly, this is called the apara prakriti. And yet it is this that is doing everything, like Prakriti does, creates to do. She is doing, she's shaping, she's molding, and she's leading the whole play towards light. And her energy is like a kind of a, you might say, a pattern that rises to fall. So there is a pattern that helps us to grow and then we fall. We rise and we fail. We live, we die. In the morning we get up, at night we have to sleep. It seems to be a recurring cycle. It's not a straight line of rising and falling. This, if this is allowed to go on, what can be the final outcome? Is there an outcome? It seems to be an endless rising and falling. And that is how it seems to be. Can there be somewhere or the other, sometime or the other, a change, an end to this pattern? This is where Savitri will come in. She has come to challenge this power. Because there is this power of death, which is darkness, which is the original inconscience, is death. So life and death, dawn and night. These are the two extremes. So this is what is our human state. Athwart the vain, enormous trance of space, its formless stupor without mind or life, a shadow spinning through a soulless void, thrown back once more into unthinking dreams. Earth wheeled, abandoned in the hollow gulfs, forgetful of her spirit and her fate. The main clause is earth wheeled. She moves, completely unaware of why she is moving. Like we live, our bodies breathe, completely unaware of why we have been given a chance to be on the earth. It is the play of an energy that is not guided by consciousness. As long as our energy is not guided by consciousness, the energy will do its work. But unconsciousness also will do its work. So there is a progress, there is a regress. And therefore, earth wheels in the hollow gulfs, completely forgetful that earth is the field of change. This pattern has to go. It is only on the earth that evolution can take place. Mother has repeated it any number of times. The field of change and evolution and growth is only on the earth, nowhere else. It's a very small speck in space. Earth is very small, but this is the privilege of being born on the earth. It is here that a new manifestation can be attempted. We do not dare. We fall back into the past. Therefore, what is, if that is the state of the earth, completely she's not aware of why she is and what she is doing. She's turning in space. So it's like a shadow. A shadow is really a projection of reality, but is not reality. What we call truth is a projection of what is truth. It is not the truth. The truth is somewhere else. Where is this shadow? This is meaningless movement of something that is unaware of why it is moving and where it is going. She seems to go nowhere. She's only turning in the same orbit. In this trance of space, space is immobile. Space is the field in which Earth moves. Space is the backdrop. For all action, you have to have backdrop, isn't it? Sthan and Kal, space and time. When anything happens, it has to happen somewhere and sometime. So space is the backdrop of manifestation. And in this world of manifestation that the divine has created, Earth has been allotted this role, and she has forgotten her role. This is the whole tragedy, if you like. That is really the meaning of tragedy. Tragedy is when he has described it in one of his aphorisms, as the failure of the soul. Earth seems to have forgotten why she has come. Therefore, she is in a state of stupor. Stupor is when she will know better than I what is stupor. It's not sleep, it's a state of absolute unawareness, complete, not even ignorance, a complete giving up of any projection of energy in any given direction. This is where I want to go, this is what I want to be. If that is there, even if I am not very conscious, that is not stupor. Stupor is a giving in to the state of inertia, as if in matter there is this inertia, and we go back to that state. So there is, without mind, all life. We go back to the inertia. No mind, all life. So Earth is thrown back once more into that state of unthinking dreams, that sleep of darkness, where there are no patterns, no movements, no efforts, no hopes, no dreams. Earth wheeled. She turned. Abandoned by whom? By the Supreme Guide, as if he has thrown the Earth into space. Earth has been given a role. Earth has forgotten the role. Why she has been sent on Earth. Forgetful of her fate. Her fate is to climb out of her state of ignorance and move towards light. Her spirit has this power. She has been given a spirit. This spirit can guide man and earth. You can replace earth with man also, to climb out of darkness towards light. But we forget. We have beautiful mantras. When you say asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, do we do that? Do we climb from darkness to light? Do we go out of inconscience and ignorance towards consciousness? If we don't, then there will always be death. Though we are meant to move from the realm of death towards immortality. We recite that sometimes, but we don't live that. Therefore, Earth had forgotten, and the impassive skies were neutral, empty, still. Above, you had some kind of a extended field of consciousness, but no guidance came from there. They're watching. It is as if seeing Earth. Earth has lost her way. Man has lost his way. Nobody is coming down to tell man, where are you going? Why are you here on Earth? Are you here to repeat the same patterns over and over again of birth and death without any change, without any fundamental growth? They are watching. There is this witness spirit to see how long this will be. Impassive, they don't show any expression, any emotion. Still. This is the first stage. But we are here to change. So it goes back to the physical change that takes place in the eastern sky when, after a very dark night, the first beginnings of dawn. This is also a psychological change after a stage of very dark, unconscious heaviness within. A moment does come where the first break. You might at some point grow to ask yourself, what am I doing? Why am I? Am I here just to stay like this? If you ever ask that question, that's the first break of light. Something is opening. Nothing really much, but it's the starting point. So then, something. That's why he puts it in a very, you might say, not a very clear manner, just something. In the inscrutable darkness, stirred. But you cannot scrutinize that darkness which had no shape, no form, nothing seemed to exist. The gods were sleeping. The gods are the powers, the principles that help to create this world of plurality, of diversity. Nothing was there. There was no joy, no life, no movement, no force, no consciousness. All these are gods. Love, power. All of them were unmanifest. At some point, something began. It's the first stage of evolution. But so rudimentary is the change that it is a nameless movement. One cannot even pinpoint. Just like in the early morning, you cannot pinpoint exactly where, exactly when the sky on the eastern side begins to be a little less dark. But it does become less dark. When? In the same way, within us also, one doesn't always realize when one begins to want to change. But one wants at some point. Something in the inscrutable darkness. So it's simultaneous, it's a play of consciousness that is slowly emerging out of unconsciousness. It's also a physical description of dawn. That is why this canto is important, because it is the whole story of Savitri. The moving from of our earthly existence, from darkness to light, which is not a continuous journey. It comes back and again into darkness. But this is, at some point, she has come to say, I will challenge this recurring pattern. She has come to stand in the way of that movement. But that's the end of the canto. Otherwise, it's just a recurring pattern. A nameless movement. An unthought idea. It's a play of words which is it's really so beautifully put. Something vague, like sometimes in our minds you can have some play of a vague movement towards a new creation, a thought which you cannot really define, for which you have no words yet. There is no clarity. You say, I can't tell you exactly, but something is happening in my head, in my mind. In the same way, it's as if also in the earth's consciousness, something began to change. And that something grew, insistent, dissatisfied with the darkness, that's all. At some point you, like we also can say, at least I know, I don't know what I want, but I know what I don't want. At some point you're dissatisfied with the way you are or the way life is, but you can't right away say, this is where I should go. It's an in-between stage. That this has to stop. The way things are now, the way I am now, the way the world is now has to go. Being replaced by what? That I cannot quite tell. I don't have answers. This is something that comes, so it is dissatisfied with the way it is, but it has no clear answer without a name. Something. So he repeats the same word because it can't be defined. That wished but knew not how to be. If you know exactly how, you have already given it a specific pattern. I want, but I don't exactly know how to do something because I am not very clear about things. So, this sense of half consciousness, just the beginning of consciousness, a beginning of an urge to change, yes. But how should I proceed? I am not conscious enough to know that. Yes?
Because you tell my state.
Huh?
We all have this
Describing
feeling.
my state.
Exactly, it's for all of us are that.
We all have this state. Only we realize that no, this is not, but what?
Exactly. So this is so beautifully done. It's just a kind of so progressive. And then he uses this wonderful word, teased the inconscience to wake ignorance. And it teased in the sense that you keep on irritating, disturbing, hitting this inconscience. But in order to wake inconscience towards light, no. I just want it to be broken. I just want to shatter this dullness. I don't know exactly what I will do with the new, if there is some new change comes, I don't know where and what I will do with that change and what I will do with it. But I don't want to stay in that state any longer. Earth feels the same. At every stage, therefore, she has to change. Earth is the field of change more than any other planet. But she herself doesn't know why. Because ignorance has been really like a lid. And that is why we don't know exactly why. So ignorance has to go. But ignorance doesn't like to go. It has been ruling us for so long. But if she has to go, it will be difficult, painful. A throw, it is a long sentence, a throw that came and left a quivering trace. You know what a throw is? It's a pain which is sharp, short-lived. It cuts through you. It is the image of the pangs of childbirth. They come and then they retire, and then again they come back. So a new birth has to come, giving the image of a new birth. After, like your body has gone through pain, the pain retires, but all your nerves are jangled. So there's a kind of something that is disturbed, quivering. He's really giving us such a beautifully detailed description that came and left a quivering trace, gave room for an old, tired want unfilled. What is that want? Something that knew that there was a time where earth was not subjected to darkness. She was creation of the world of light. And that's why darkness wants light. Somewhere we remember that we are not only children of death, we are children of immortality. That's why we dislike to die. There is a kind of a pull towards light. But we have forgotten. We have accepted that we are children of darkness. Earth has accepted that she is ruled by ignorance. Then why does ignorance At some point, one feels that ignorance has to go. Why does night slowly is replaced by dawn? This movement of light that it breaks out of darkness, this need to move into a world which at present I am in a state of darkness, I don't know anything but darkness, then why do I want life? Why does earth want light? She must have known that there was a time when she came from light. I can't want something that I'm totally unaware of, which is foreign to my nature. If I want perfection, if I want light, if I want a perfect life on earth, it is because somewhere I know what it is. I've come from there. We have two mothers. We are not only children of darkness, we are also children of light. And this is the whole problem of man. Which side shall he turn to? If he turns, as Mother taught that little children a prayer in the kindergarten, that we are on a mountain slope. We are below. All depends on what you turn your back to. You turn your back to the mud below you, you can see the sky above. You turn your back to the sky above and you say, this earth is reality, this is the reality. But somewhere in us there is a memory. This is the role of the soul's memory. We are not. That is why we dislike this state of ignorance. Sooner or later we have to come out of it. Which up to then had remained at peace, gave room for an old, tired want unfilled, at peace in its subconscious, moonless cave. This want for light had remained hidden below in the state of the original subconscious. Subconscious is really the start of the movement of change, not the inconscious. From the inconscious, you have the subconscious, and the subconscious is universal. But you are not aware of the subconscious. As the word itself says, it is below your level of consciousness. But something, as in the morning, you can sleep for long, and then at some point you finally say, how long will I sleep? I have to get up. There is a movement towards life, a movement towards energy, a movement towards expression. You can't forever lie in bed. It's a symbol, the same thing. Earth also, how long will she stay like that? In the darkness, that want to move towards light, until we call for it, it remains below. So it remains in the subconscious, moonless. Moon symbolizes the mind. Mind, because the moon receives light from the sun. It has no light of its own. The mind also receives light from something above. But in that state where there is mindlessness, total inconscience, that want, that need to move towards light is not there. Mind is an instrument of light, however limited it may be. Straining closed eyes of vanished memory. There at some point, that something stirred. There is a vanished memory somewhere, that once upon a time, I belong to the world of light. In my surface being, that memory has gone. But deep within, because I am not just a surface being, that knowledge is there. In the same way, deep in the soul of the earth, the same memory is there. She is a creation of the divine. That's why she turns always to the sun. She turns round the sun. The sun is the symbol of the Supreme. She doesn't dare to go too near, but she can't do without it. Just like us. We try to look for what we were, that like one who searches for a bygone self, and only meets the corpse of his desire. We don't remember. So we think, I would like to be other than I am now, but I don't know how. My desire is to move towards light, but I have lost the energy, I've lost the knowledge. So it is this in-between state. That's why he said something. Something that doesn't like to be the way one is, but at the same time doesn't know how to change. So stop there. Okay. All right, one more sentence. Okay. It was as though, even in this note's profound, here profound is a noun, profundity. Even in the depth of this apparent nothingness, even in this ultimate dissolution's core, that's why it was the hour before the gods awake. Nothing seemed to exist. Everything seems to have dissolved. The very core of this darkness, it was not quite naught. It was not dissolved. There lurked, hiding, there was a hidden, there lurked an unremembering entity. There was something which seemed to have forgotten that its role is to emerge. Its role is to come out. That's why it stays below, waiting. The inner divine does not come out until it is called for. This is something that Mother has written in her Supreme Discovery also, that the inner divine presence does not insist. It does not demand to ask to come out. It stays until the being wants it to come out. Otherwise it stays within, waiting. So this entity, this presence is there. It is as if she has forgotten that her role is to come out, is to emerge, is to manifest. What is this entity, this soul, this spirit, which has never died, survivor of a slain and buried past? Everything else goes away. This never goes away. And because this is there, we keep on returning. Our journey doesn't stop. We are pulled down because of our acceptance of death, ignorance, inconscience. We come out because this entity is there. So we are condemned to resume the effort and the pang, because something within says you have to go on. Something else says you can't go on. You have to stop. So this duality of a force that pulls us down and another force which we have lost touch with, but is there. But it is this that, pushes, that really provokes the being to resume the effort in life after life. And that is what is evolution. To start once again, to revive in another frustrate world. Because again and again we come, again and again we fail. So the sense of frustration. It's not that once the entity or the spirit emerges and then it will lead us into a world of brilliant light. It doesn't. This play of two forces, the force of darkness dragging us down, the presence of light that pushes us out of our dullness, out of our sleep, out of our inconscience. We climb up, and then the gravitational pull of dullness comes again, and we fall back. So there is the sense of failure, of frustration.
Your unremembering entity means...
As if it has also accepted to remain hidden in the darkness. It will not come out. It will not insist. It will not say, I am here to lead you. It is there, but if you do not want it, it will not insist.
It's like the Purusha.
Hmm?
Purush, which they say, no?
It is your Purusha. Yes, it is your soul, your spirit, your Purusha.
Who doesn't insist.
Okay.